And we know that QBs can get injured. Our
Yeah.
division rivals are dealing with that right now. Derek Carr, out of nowhere, has a shoulder issue that's threatening his 2025 season. So, I mean, things can happen. Not saying we're
Yep.
going to trade Kirk to our division rival, although I would love to see him in a Saints uniform getting killed by our defense. That would be awesome. But
Be
um,
hilarious.
yeah, yeah, so that situation's even crazier, Jeff. I put out a couple posts on X about this too. The Saints are really like they really botched the situation here, and it's funny because Atlanta's getting so much heat for the way they handled Cousins' contract and whatever. But the thing is, when they paid Cousins all that money, they really didn't know how high they were on Michael Penix. At that point, when they paid him 100 million guaranteed, whatever, like they thought this guy is going to be our quarterback for the next 3 or 4 years. This is why we're giving him 100 mil. But then, and it's their fault for not knowing, like, hey, like there is this kid out there. Maybe we should look into him more before, handing Kirk that money. That part is their fault, 100%.
Mhm.
But at that point in time, when they handed Kirk the money, they didn't freaking know. And then obviously they have that pro day April 4th with Penix, and they fall in love. They draft him, fine, and they end up being right. Here's what the Saints did wrong. First of all, Derek Carr is a mid quarterback. You could have moved off of him. You guys are, even if you made the wild card round, any one of the NFC powerhouses was gonna
Right.
politely escort you out of the play. Like that was your ceiling. You were not going higher than the wild card round. But instead, what the Saints did, they could have first day of the offseason in 2025, they could have cut Carr for very like basically nothing. Like that they wouldn't really have a dead cap charge, and they could have manipulated the cap in such a way to actually get cap space in 2025. Instead, they cut him a check for almost $40 million and prepay his base salary and his roster bonus for this year. 1 month later, the guy might not even play in 2025. They are in freaking denial. At least we know. Let's cut our losses. We fucked up. We gave Kirk a contract we
Right.
shouldn't have, right? Like we know we're trying to move off of it. They have been living in denial since Breeze retired.
And it couldn't happen to a better fan base. It couldn't happen better to a better, like, I just, at what point do you not just hope that, the wrath of God happens upon a city, right? Or to a franchise? I mean, for you to go give the Catholic diocese, help on how to cover up sex scandals and all the other shit that they've done over the last, 10 years is just, when shit like this happens to the Saints, you can't help but like look up and go, thank you. Appreciate you. They are living proof that karma's a bitch. And I'm here for every single moment of it. I love it.
It's wild. And you know what's the sad part of all of this? Like they had a path to have become a powerhouse like into the 2020s. Like they were
Yeah.
one pick from Patrick Mahomes. Had they drafted Mahomes, Sean Payton stays. All those defenders they hit, don't forget, this is the franchise that drafted Zach Bond, Trey Hendrickson, Cam Jordan. They, during the Sean Payton era, were just hitting draft picks.
Yeah.
We would have been beyond fucked if
Oh yeah.
Carr, I mean, if they drafted Mahomes. Like this, they could have probably, like, honestly, especially in this weak ass division too, they would, oh my God, they would have cleaned us up, man.
Oh, and they would have made the pick. Mahomes was going to New Orleans. They had no idea that Kansas City was going to swoop in there and grab him.
Hmm.
And yeah, like, thankfully this is one of those scenarios where we don't have to, where we can go, damn, that what if would have been really nasty. Because that what if would have been really, really nasty. Because, as good as Mahomes has been, having him with Sean Payton would have been just as much success. Because Payton, I mean, look what that dude did with Bo Nix, right?
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
I I live in the South. I know what Bo Nix looked like at Auburn. Good Lord. Yeah, I know what he looked like at Auburn. I know people remember him in Oregon, but I've seen how bad that kid can be. And yet, he's in there. He's over in Denver now, absolutely balling, right? Like it's absolutely crazy to me. And there's no doubt in my mind that Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes with Sean Payton. There's zero doubt in my mind.
So there was this draft day story back, I believe back in 2017, where Gruden in like an ESPN meeting room is like, hey, the two teams that are going to be interested in Mahomes are going to be Casey because of Reed and Sean Payton because and New Orleans because of Payton, because I believe they both had experience working with Favre, and they're like they both saw Favre when he was younger, and Gruden obviously had experience with him too. And he's
Right.
like, this kid's like Favre. They're seeing Favre. I can see it too. And the thing about Sean, as good of a coach as he is so freaking arrogant. He like his downfall is he has his head up his ass, and that pretty
Yeah.
much caused
Yeah.
him to miss out on Mahomes, not thinking like no one's thinking about Mahomes. Bears are thinking about Trubisky, whatever, like we got him. But he almost
Remember who the big name in that draft was, though?
I don't remember who was it.
Deshaun Watson was the big quarterback name in that
Oh, it
draft.
was Watson. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah, you're right.
And
I
and
was
and
mixing up
when
drafts.
and when Mahomes got picked, my phone blew up from my radio people going, "Damn, how bad did your boy fuck up that they took Patrick Mahomes?" Because coming out of Texas Tech, he was not on a whole lot of people's radars, right? And so this just goes to your point of Sean Payton really thought that he was going to slip in under the radar and go grab this kid because he didn't think anybody else was paying attention to him. Because yeah, he threw for a shit ton of yards at Texas Tech, but they were terrible. Now, they weren't terrible because of him. They were terrible because they had no defense at Texas Tech. But Peyton really thought that he had like found this diamond in the rough and he was going to be able to steal him because everybody talked about Mitch coming into that draft, which was crazy because that dude started like 4 games at North Carolina and somehow, the white savior jumps in and is the number 1 pick. But then it was Deshaun Watson, right? Because Watson's last 2 years at Clemson, back-to-back national title games, current national champion, gets invited, should have won the Heisman Trophy over Lamar Jackson, and I will die on that hill to the day I die, right? Like, I will die on, like, it is what it is. Nobody was talking about Mahomes because those were the 2 quarterbacks that everybody had going in the top 5. And when you're sitting there and you're going, holy shit, Sean's dropping. Like, what is going on? And then you hear Patrick Mahomes' name get called. People were flabbergasted that this kid out of Texas Tech was all of a sudden getting this love before. Again, Deshaun, who was like the sweetheart, and obviously times have completely changed over the last 10 years. But, Deshaun was sitting on that board in the green room. People are going, wait a minute, like, what did we miss? Well, now we know what guys like Andy Reid and Sean Payton saw because the dude was an absolute stud or is an absolute stud.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking to that point too, it's more like Peyton didn't want to trade up to like secure his guy, could have changed life in New Orleans, but he did the same freaking thing with the Broncos where he would have moved up for Knicks, and luckily he got him. But what the hell was going to happen if, for example, the Jets, who were dead set, like we're taking Olu Fashu or whatever with the 10th pick, what if the Raiders just offered them like a second, a third, or whatever, and just swap places and took Knicks? Then Peyton would be kind of like left at
Yeah.
the altar again. Like it almost happened. He got so lucky that Knicks fell to him. Like that would have been disastrous. And now he has his guy. Everything looks good. But I'm telling you, the one thing about him, his downfall, like he just can't, like, yeah, he thinks he's the smartest person in the room, and 99% of the time he probably is. But like, even in your own
Right.
division, like there's a smarter guy, and you're going up against the person you could have had. Think about it. Think about what he's thinking. Like, if I just traded up one freaking pick, I would have Mahomes. Now I have to now he's my nightmare. Now I have to deal with him for the next 10 years in this freaking division.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, because you already had your ass, Drew Brees already owned your ass for the 10, 12 years he was there. And then you're looking at, potentially not even 10 years. You're looking at like 15 to 20 potentially more years with Mahomes in New Orleans. And it would have been I'm glad we don't have to live that nightmare. I am absolutely ecstatic we don't have to live that nightmare.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well,